Welcome, friends. I would like to welcome you all to the session of self-discovery and the Japanese secret of long and happy life. It is said that a human being is born twice. First, when you take a biological birth, and the second, when you discover what's the purpose of your life. A reason to jump out of bed each morning or your own ikigai, which is hidden deep inside you. And finding it requires a lot of patience. I would like to welcome our speaker, Rajiv Bajaj, Chairman of Bajaj Capital, who has been gracious enough to take out time and share his experience and give us an introduction to Ikigai. Rajiv is the Chairman of Bajaj Capital, and he has architected the growth of the company over 30 years now. He has done his MBA from the University of Geneva and holds an executive MBA in International Wealth Management from Carnegie Mellon. Having professionalized Bajaj Capital, he is working on his purpose, his Ikigai, to create an organization which becomes a global thought leader in health and wellness space. OmniLife, as he calls it, is an outcome of 3 years of extensive global research on the art and science of longevity. During his career path, he discovered a keen passion for finding out the purpose of his life and the drivers that set him apart from the rest. He then started his journey to find his own Ikigai and traveled across the world, meeting masters, coaches, trainers, and those who live by example. He spent considerable amount of time in Japan and China to discover himself. Post his awakening, he is also a coach to others who aspire to seek and take his advice. Rajiv is a fitness enthusiast and is a very passionate about Qigong. He was trained by Shaolin monk in Shaolin Temple in China in 2017. His interests include golf, yoga, meditation, and his Ikigai is to help others find their own Ikigai. I would now like to request Rajiv and take it from here. Raj.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you to JK Business School and its leaders, its dean, faculty to give me this opportunity. I'm delighted to be here. Professor Marwa, Varsha Singhania, Abhishek Singhania. Abhishek has not given my best part of my introduction, that I'm his brother. And we are brothers from another mother. We founded our Entrepreneurs Forum together 14 years ago, almost 15. And so which means that Abhishek has a right over me and I have a right over him. He can catch me by the neck and say, Rajiv, you have to do this. And that's what brought me here today on a Saturday morning. He wanted me to speak to all of you, the future business leaders. Now, I have been speaking on Ikigai to different groups. And you must know who are the people most interested in Ikigai. People who are most interested are who are changing a life stage. Hence, it is people who are the age of 60, who are just retiring and need to repurpose their lives because they are finishing a 35-year-long approx career. Then people who are lost in a midlife crisis. So it is gender-wise more women, also men. Women wonder that now that kids are older, and kids like you, they are older. So just imagine your mother also needs to find her Ikigai. And therefore what you learn today, you must go and share definitely with your mother, if not with your father and siblings. And I hope you're locked in the same house at this point at the time of quarantine. So share it with your mothers, because I find most interest in Ikigai in women from the age of 40 to 45, because they are in a midlife crisis. That means they are wondering कि क्या जिंदगी यही है कि इसमें कुछ और भी है depth. And that's the question they are asking, and Ikigai is a tool which helps you answer this question. I also speak to a bunch of entrepreneurs within the age group of average 35 to 55, and they are very interested how to repurpose their business, how to take the business to next level. So for example, JK Technology is a leading IT company which Mr. Abhishek Singhania heads. What is the future of JK Technologies? And how do we repurpose JK Technologies? Is the mission statement of JK Technology only pasted on the walls as you enter the office or in the boardroom or on the website of the company, or actually all the family members, and I assume, you know, there are a few thousand family members of JKT, are they all living the mission of JKT? So these are several questions, but this is my first talk to my most beloved group, which is students. And you guys are again and changing a life stage. You are average age of 20 to 24, I assume, and you are now entering the workforce, and from simulated world to real world. And hence, I would say my boys are the same age. Jay is 23, Shivam is 21. So I relate to people this age. I relate, but I don't relate because it's very hard to communicate with people of this age. But my boys are lovely and we have open conversations. So I've run this session with my sons. I have run this session with my wife, and Abhishek spoke about OmniLife, that my label is that I'm a financial services guy. I've worked in financial services for 30 years in Bajaj Capital, a company founded by my father, Mr. KK Bajaj. And so I was born into it. On a summer afternoon, I just sleepwalked into his office in hot 45 degrees, just 15 days before this, you know, in terms of chronological time order. And on a hot 40 degrees day, I walked into his office and said, can I work with you? So I had that privilege to be able to do that, but all of us are not born with a silver spoon. Many of you have heard, you know, borrowed, are paying EMIs, and you're worried, you're concerned, you're thinking, ab kya hoga? Job milega ki nahi milega? Post-COVID, how long will this last? Will there be an economic depression? So there are 101 questions in your mind. So Ikigai, friends, is not only about finding your life purpose. Ikigai is also about sorting out all aspects of life, because unless all other aspects of life are sorted out and clear in your head, you cannot find your Ikigai. So if I'm able to share with you, friends, in the next 25 odd minutes, when I'll run a presentation for you, and if I'm able to share with you some of the tools, maybe 1 or 2 tools which you can work on, that would be a great Saturday morning spent together. And I believe you've just come out of your classes, and hence it's business as usual for you. So this fits right in. And I think if Delhi government is running happiness curriculum, and they have run it for more than 1 million people, and interestingly, I know people who designed that curriculum, they are young kids who are 24 years old, just about your age. So what people can achieve at age is no bar. What people can achieve at whatever age, it is unimaginable. So therefore, you must also ask me questions in case it slips my mind, that how to conquer your ego, because all of us have ego. I have ego. I am married, I am attached to my name, Rajiv Bajaj. Abhishek is attached to his name. Professor Marwa is attached to his name and his qualifications. But we are all attached to what we have done in life. We have our profiles. But you guys are going there and building it. So build your ego. It's very important to live. But do not build it to an extent that it becomes a stumbling block in you finding and discovering your genius. So that's what is, can be the later on path. And as I told you that Abhishek is my brother. So therefore, this is just the beginning of a small journey. Consider this just an introduction to the concept of Ikigai. So with these words, I'm going to take you into a presentation, and just give me a second. So I have put something together for JK Business School. Professor Marwa, you can see the numbers. How many people do we have today? How many participants?
So we have 180 now, Raj, and still
that's quite a number. Yeah.
Fantastic. Lovely. So all 180 of you, welcome to this Ikigai session. Friends, as I mentioned, this journey covers two things. It covers my professional life journey of 30 years, and particularly what has happened in the last 5-7 years. And it also covers my love for the country of Japan, its culture, the finer aspects, the finer nuances. I don't know if you've seen WhatsApp forwards. Many of them are very meaningful. And one of them I got a couple of Sundays ago was about Japan and how differently it is dealing with the COVID crisis. So Japan, I've been several times, friends, and people there are very socially conscious. So what we are doing right now is wearing masks when we go out to buy groceries, or even if we have cold, we prefer not to step out of house. Even if you have to step out of house, you wear a mask to protect others. So mask is not to protect yourself, it is to protect others. And hence, that level of social consciousness at a train station in Tokyo, in Japan, let's say in Shinagawa station, where, I would assume like Connaught Place, like Rajiv Chowk, that many number of people. So possibly I'll assume and guess about, 1 million people cross that station, like the Churchgate station in Mumbai. That many people cross every day. So just imagine the scene at Shinagawa station, and Abhishek and I have been there together. You see at least 20% of the people on a normal day, pre-COVID days, wearing masks. So what does that tell you about that culture? That means people are concerned not only about themselves, they are concerned about others, that I should not give infection to others. Similarly, washing of hands and sanitizers being in every public bathroom, even at a railway station, is a commonplace. Hence, the Japanese government and administration, till the last minute, they have now fallen in line with the global, because their numbers started increasing also. But like India, their numbers of COVID are in control comparatively, and because they trust their citizens to be socially aware and conscious. So Japanese are very compassionate. They think about others. Ikigai also as a concept is not about your hobbies, your passions. It is about how you connect with others. So as we speak about Ikigai today, friends, when you ask me questions, also ask me about what Ikigai is not. Because to understand Ikigai better, you must understand what Ikigai is not, rather than understanding what Ikigai is. So with these words, let me flip through this presentation, and I'll speak, interspersingly about my professional career and my love for Japan. 5 years ago, Bajaj Capital decided that we need to digitize this financial services wealth management business. If we don't digitize, we will be extinct. So the business needs to be run by digital professionals, and we did not have the skills as family members. So we got a professional CEO to run the business, and what that meant was that we were unemployed for half a day, and we did not have much to do besides governing the business, and hence it gave me an opportunity for the first time in my life to explore my true passion. That if I was not born into KK Bajaj's house, and if I did not have the privilege to walk into his office in May 1990 on a summer hot afternoon and ask for a job, what would I have done? So if I simulated and put myself in same position as you, that what, and remember that time was Harshad Mehta scam, so it was a very challenging time. Within few months of me joining the workforce, Harshad Mehta scam hit and the stock market crashed. This is 1991 to 1994. Not as bad as now, but this is a tough situation. So this was a question I asked myself, and I learned a lot of tools. I met many masters. I've taken meditation classes, and I do meditations to find my life purpose, to go down that direction. Now I have become a coach around that. I've started teaching people also. Running these processes, something pulled me towards the study of human longevity. And I realized that the mecca of human longevity is Okinawa Island, the southern tip island of Japan. which many of us who are interested in geography, it is just north of Taiwan and southern tip of Japan. It is known for the longest living and healthiest population in the world. It has the largest percentage of healthy, long living people. And there have been surveys after surveys that what makes these people unique. So my quest was not quenched, my thirst was not quenched just reading books on the topic. Hence, I landed up in Okinawa in Japan on ground. And I met up with, on the top you see Yogi-san, my translator and guide. I stayed in Ogimi village, which is known as the centenarian village. It has only a few hundred population. It has no hotel, of course, and hence I stayed in an Airbnb Japanese house. I met these ladies in the community, Mio-san 93, Fuji-san 101. And I spent 4 hours with them, chatting with them. What I realized is that these ladies, they have an ikigai, and their ikigai is to spend time with each other. They are sister-in-laws. They fight every half an hour, but they cannot do without each other. Spending time with each other is their ikigai. And this is what made Okinawa unique. And the books written on the subject are that while Okinawans eat healthy, they have pure air quality. So the pollution, the PMI, what we measure in Delhi these days, we say it's very good, between 50 and 100. When I was in Ogimi, Okinawa, Japan, the pollution used to daily fluctuate between 0 to 1. Some days it used to be 1, some days it used to be 0. And then they eat a lot of seaweed, and people said that may be the secret of their longevity. But the real secret, friends, of their longevity, healthy longevity, is that all of them know their purpose in life. And it comes to them naturally. It's almost like learning to walk. So if you ask any Japanese person, even in Okinawa, let's say Mio-san, you ask her, Mio-san, what is your ikigai? So she will just blush and laugh. So you have to kind of dig it out of her in the conversation. So I'll tell you in the next slide that Mio-san, her ikigai, besides being spending half a day with Fuji-san, is also tending to this 1/4 of an acre farm from where she plucked out vegetables and she fed me like her grandson. And every day she spends 2 hours at this farm. And I realized that everybody I met there, I met 30 people, including 7 centenarians. And all of them have something which is unique about them. I also went to Loma Linda in California, which is a blue zone. Now, many of you may want to read up on this. Blue zone is a study done by National Geographic magazine. And they have identified 5 areas in the world which are centers of healthy longevity. So I went to 2 of these, Okinawa and Loma Linda. And others are Sardinia in Italy, Icaria in Greece, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. Let me tell you a story of 1 or 2 of these people. Dorothy and Dan, who you see on the left, they are both in their mid-80s. You see their level of fitness. They may be fitter than you and me. And I can't see many of you, but I would say you might feel a little embarrassed looking at their level of fitness. They were going to go for, this is in Loma Linda Medical Center. There is a senior center there, which is like a community club. They were going to go for a water aerobics class after meeting me. And this meeting had been organized by the Loma Linda Medical Center officials. And what their ikigai is, I assume, that they love spending time with each other. And they are 2 friends, they're both single, they have both lost their partners, and their friendship and doing workouts in tandem every day is their ikigai. Wherever I travel, friends, I find an opportunity to visit places and meet people. So we went to Masai Mara for a camp to see the lions and zebras. But our guide there told us that there is a Maasai village nearby. And our village elder, his age is estimated to be between 105 to 110. We don't know his exact age, but it's between 105 to 110. So I kept insisting on him, kept virtually badgering him, and he finally agreed to take us to the village and make us meet this very shy Maasai chief. Now, this hut you see behind me, friends, we sat in the small hut, and ये मिट्टी की बनी हुई, और वहां पे मक्खियां उड़ रही हैं, और उन्होंने बड़े प्यार से हमारे को उनके फार्म की बनी हुई कुछ मीठी चीज खिलाई, जिसको I could not identify, what it was, but it was delicious. It was made out of love, and we met all the village elders. Their bonding was to be noted and seen, how bonded they were to each other. And the Maasai chief, friends, this gentleman is 108 years old, and see how erect his back is. They say that your age is defined not by your biological age, but it is defined by how erect your back is. And see how erect his back is, how tight his skin is. By no stretch of imagination did this gentleman look that he was 108 years old. And when I asked him questions, they gave, obviously every culture has different answers. So he told me that we pluck different herbs from the nearby. Whatever we eat is from the farm. So you see these hens and chicks running around here, and we are growing our own own vegetables on this mountain, as you see in the backdrop. So whatever is grown here, we eat only that. We also drink human blood. So we cannot take every not human blood, sorry, cow's blood, and we cannot take every practice from every culture, but we can learn a lot. So what this quest of mine of study of human longevity kept taking me from one place to the other. And I kept asking myself this question, and sometimes I used to even grill myself and my inner voice that, Rajiv, you're a financial services person in the business of wealth management. Why are you wasting time doing all this? You're spending half a day on this. And friends, another sign that you are finding your ikigai or your life purpose is that you get into a state of flow. You lose a sense of time and space. So what used to happen to me while I was doing these studies and visiting these places, it used to give me so much inner joy and happiness. And I was in a state of flow. That means 4 hours have elapsed. I have forgotten to have my lunch. And I think it's about 2 p.m. but it's 4 p.m. So that is the kind of involvement and engagement that happens that when you're doing this research. So soon I started realizing, friends, I started seeing a pattern that there is a connection between health, wealth, and longevity. Because Bajaj Capital, my company, is in the business of wealth management, as I said. And the core principle of wealth management is your money should outlive you. You should not outlive your money. Even the mission statement of Bajaj Capital, and I would confess honestly, I had never paid it that much attention all these years. But I read it again, and suddenly that mission statement spoke to me. It said financial well-being over a lifetime. That was our business model. And whenever we do financial planning for people, which is financial budgeting and how much income, how much expenditure, where to invest, portfolio investment, whenever we do that exercise, one of the most casually filled columns, friends, is age expectancy, life expectancy. So whenever you are sitting with a client and you say, sir, kitna bhar de? Client is also very casual. They will say, jitna bhi bhar do. In India, the age expectancy formally is going up now, is about 68, 70 now. But people say 80 bhar dijiye. And we would just write 80. And what I realized at that moment, friends, is that this is the most important column when we provide our service to our clients, and we are most casual about it. And it is our job, if our clients are casual, they are casual because people in our industry are not educated. So we need to first educate our own people, educate ourselves, and then educate our client. So that became our mission. So we have now started telling our clients that, sir, modern science allows that there is a 0.1, 0.2% chance that you could live to 100 years. because you are now so self-aware. Earlier, 3 years ago, you did not know that you should be taking 10,000 steps a day. Now you are aware. So all this awareness is coming through WhatsApp, social media. Also, modern science is making it possible. So it may be possible for people to live to 100. And remember the principle of wealth management: your money should live longer than you. You should not outlive your money. And hence, we changed the date of age expectancy in financial planning from 80, which was a randomly written figure, to a scientific around 100. That let us plan our clients' finances with the responsibility. And as our in every Bajaj Capital office, behind the reception there is a statement. In each of the 200 odd offices, there is a statement from our founder, which is my father, which is that treat your clients' money like your retired father's savings, who is not in a position to earn again in life. So with and hence, if somebody has come to us at the age of 60 and come to us with their last big earning corpus, and they want to manage this money for rest of their life, how long are they going to live? Not 10 years, not 20 years, 40 years. So it is only the beginning of their second innings. It is only the beginning of second half of their life. So with this sort of repurposing, we took this proposition back to our team. I went and made a presentation to our executive committee members. They said that it was almost like a moment of awakening. They said, why were we not thinking of this before? And we have been doing retirement planning for last 56 years. That's the age of Bajaj Capital. But we did not see it from this point of view. So, दोस्तों, मैं अगर हिंदी में बोलूं, it is not what you do, it's how you do it. With what spirit you do it. So this is the message, friends, I want to be leaving with you today, is that it is not about getting a job in next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. It is about getting the right job for you, knowing your own purpose, repurposing yourself, understanding the mission, vision of that company, repurposing your own values to the mission and vision of that company. If it matches, well and good. Otherwise, exiting that company and finding a company which is true to your spirit, giving your best, and then making that company successful, making yourself successful. That is how only 1% of people reach the top, and they are the people who follow the purpose of the company and become the leaders and take it to the top. I was listening to a talk yesterday by one of the leading global authors, economic authors, Thomas Friedman. You must have heard of him, who's written a book called World is Flat. He's written several books, but this is his most famous book. And what Thomas Friedman, the interviewer, asked him, Thomas, what is going to change after COVID? What he said is, people's respect for work will change. And any work. Today, the person I respect the most is people who deliver pizzas, people who deliver couriers to our house. They are taking a risk on their life and they are coming and delivering. The truck drivers who are driving 10,000 kilometers coast to coast in India to bring commodities so that we can हमें अनाज मिले और हम घर पे रोटी बनाएं, चावल बनाएं और उसको खाएं. So we must be grateful to these people, and it is because of them that we are successful. Similarly, in our companies, our liftmen, our janitors, the people who maintain the bathroom. Have you ever thought, friends, that there are people, just imagine and compare people. There are people who are doing that work, which is such a repetitive work. Every day you are pressing the buttons of the lift. Every day you are cleaning the toilets. And you're still happy and you're still smiling. On the other hand, there are people who are CEOs of companies, who are GMs of companies, who are deans of colleges, और वो उदास होके ऐसे बैठे हुए हैं. So it is all a question of attitude. So repeating Thomas Friedman's words, respect work and also revisit the attitude you bring. So my question to you friends, like you may have a lot of questions for me, which we'll open up in a few minutes. But my question for you is, what have you learned in the last 30 days? What have you learned in life in last 30 days? Because if anybody hasn't learned anything in last 30 days, I dare say, allow me to say this as your older brother, that you will never learn it in life. This is the last opportunity, because this is one, not only one in 100-year event, this is a one in 1,000-year event. So this is our last opportunity to sort ourselves out, and possibly we have another week, 2, 3, 4 of lockdown left, or partial exit from our house. So this is the time to recalibrate our mind. This is the time to be finding our purpose and our ikigai. So what I'm going to do, friends, is I'm going to quickly flip you through, certain slides. And ikigai, as you know, is life purpose. And broken up, it is life flow. Iki and kai. It's a combination of two Japanese words, life and flow. It is a very simple sounding word, but it's a philosophy of life. And that's what is unique about Japanese culture. Each word is a philosophy in itself. So this is something which gives you the motivation to live long, as you saw with the Masai chief and with Mio-san and with Fuji-san and the other elders we met. I've already spoken to you about my love for Japan, and I have met with people who are the people in the world. Professor Akihiro Hasegawa of Toyo Aiba University is the only man in the world I know who has done PhD in Ikigai. And hence I went to Japan and met up with him. And it was a fantastic meeting. He shared all his decks with me, which were written in Japanese. Through a friend in JNU, I translated many of them. And one of the slides here is very interesting, which again will help you. This is one of the tools I want to leave with you. Possibly if you want to take a picture of it, you can. This is Ikigai as an object and as a feeling. So first read the right side, the red side. Anything which does not, make you emote, or does not, जिससे आपके रोंगटे खड़े ना हो जाएं, anything which does not make you evoke your emotions, then it is possibly not your ikigai. Then it is just a glorified hobby. So ikigai can be anything, but it should give you sense of fulfillment, motivation to live, make you, आपको, you should feel proud of your existence. कि हाँ जी, मैंने जिंदगी में आके कुछ difference make किया. I'm not just one of the billion people in this country. And it makes you feel in control of your life. We can never control life, but for that moment, it makes you feel a sense of control. It fills your heart with joy. So it should evoke an emotion, and it could be an object. Let's see the blue side now. It could relate to a past experience, memory, role. It could be present, something to do with your health, that I want to become fit. It could be a hobby, kite flying, anything. It could be related to your family. Like, the two sister-in-laws example I gave you, Mio-san and Fuji-san. It could be, spending time with your best friends. But friends, best friends के साथ beer share तो पीते रहते हैं. But life is beyond that as well. So therefore, whatever I'm saying, just hear me with a pinch of salt. And these are different definitions. What I am giving you now is a Japanese definition. The original definition of Ikigai, whatever makes you happy every day, is your Ikigai. It is a daily action. It is not a goal of a company. It is not Mr. Singhania's goal of making JKT from a 1,000 crore company to a 5,000 crore company. It is not a goal. It is not from point A to point B. It is a daily action you take. It could be about your future, like growing your family, having children, getting married first before having children. It could be about events in your life, like your marriage, and you have a girlfriend, or you have a boyfriend, and you want to get married to each other. It could be imagination of where you want to have. So Ikigai can be anything. You can have a main Ikigai, you can have sub Ikigais. But from our discussion point of view, friends, And again, take a snapshot of this, and you can also Google it. When you Google Ikigai and you click images, this is what will come up. Ikigai is an intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So in other words, it is a cross section of your passion, mission, profession, and vocation. Now, coming out of a business school, you guys are mostly thinking about your profession. So you are thinking primarily, जब आप अपना CV बना रहे हैं, you are thinking about what am I good at, what can I be paid for. So therefore, one of the tips, friends, I want to leave with you is read books on Ikigai, read more, Google, search, connect with me later. I also run workshops. Come into one of my workshops, and JK Business School can organize that. I am proposing a couple of things, and this is particularly for you, Professor Marwa, with your permission and with Abhishek's permission, that I came up with a couple of ideas. You guys at JK Business School can form an Ikigai club, and I can, whoever are the key volunteers, I can train those people to run these workshops, because I may not be able to meet all of you and run workshops for you, but I can run it for a core group of, you know, senior students or some teachers, a group mixed up. You create an Ikigai club. This was one idea. Another idea was that, and you would be the first business school in the country to have an Ikigai club, and that would make it something, like a feather on your cap. And then I'm also urging you to prepare a Ikigai CV. Understand this concept and make your CV, which is so unique. It does not only talk about your skills, that I'm an analytical thinker, I'm a researcher, and all those kind of things. Also talk about or what you could be paid for, what sort of industry sectors. I'm interested in financial services because I've trained in this sector. But also talk about what you love. And people talk about it in the end of the CV. But it's a very by the way passe. So if you are a swimming champion, what has becoming a swimming champion of Jharkhand state, what has it taught you? And what is that life skill you have learned there which you can bring to your job? If you can think about it, detail it out. What do you love? You love making coffee. Now, how can you, it's not only about making good coffee. It is about, through coffee, you make 20 friends meet every week. So that means I'm a good team player. I can also do good teamwork. Similarly, what the world needs. Talk about the world, what you can do with the world. Ikigai is not only about what our friend Charulata Patel, and God bless her, she passed away last year. She was very visible in the World Cup cricket. And Charulata Patel is basically, I do not know the right answer, but is she following her passion by watching cricket? And here you see, she attracted the attention of all the TV telecasters, and Virat Kohli went and took her blessings. Rohit Sharma went and took her blessings. Watching cricket, is it her Ikigai, or is it just a passion or a hobby for her? I do not know the answer, because Ikigai has to be something to do with what the world needs, the box on the right. So friends, if you have done something in life which has something to do with what the world needs, then you will stand out. And when you prepare a Ikigai CV, this is the aspect that should come out of you. I want to give you an example. One of my colleagues who works with me as a part of our health and wellness platform, OmniLife, his name is Puneet. Puneet, how he cleared the interview is that I said, we are into health and wellness. What have you done in your life which would tell me? And he's a trainer, and he's worked in companies, corporate trainer, worked in companies like Accenture and others, Convergys. Tell me something about you which would dawn upon me that you are a person who is passionate about health and wellness. So he gave me an example of the home, Gorakhpur, the city he comes from, and Gorakhpur के शमशान भूमि में उसने एग्जाम्पल दिया कि वहां पे पौधे नहीं थे, And when he went for somebody's funeral, he felt, it was a very offensive environment. It was not where a place where you go for peace. So what he did, he took initiative, invested his own first 10,000 rupees, planted some trees there, took his permission. It came in the knowledge of the local administration, they supported him. And then later, friends, of the state government, it became a 1 crore mission. And now Gorakhpur cremation ground is a well planted green area. So this is something he did for the community, not for himself. And if you were to write some aspects like this of yourselves in your CV, it will make you stand out. So what is the attitude, friends, you show at the time of interview? What is the attitude you take to your work? This is what will make you stand out and will make you a business leader of the changed world and of the future. So at this time, friends, I would like to stop sharing the slides and ask open up the house and take questions from you. I hope this has been useful for you.
Thanks a lot, Rajiv. I think that was a very informative session, and it gave us a pretty clear insight into the concept. But obviously, I think you will need far more time to handhold a person getting into knowing your own Ikigai, which will be probably a different workshop. We have a few questions which are there. I would like to first start with that. With your business background, how did you reach this point of Ikigai?
So in my own case, Abhishek, as I answered briefly, that I found myself pulled towards the concept of health, wealth and longevity and the convergence of that. And I gave you the example of Bajaj Capital. Initially, I could not see a link, but I slowly started connecting the dots. So in my own case, I realized that when I did my own Ikigai sort of a worksheet, I realized that what is my one gift? There is, they say that everyone, possibly it's a Mark Twain quote, that you're born twice. One is your biological birth. Second is when you realize what is your one unique gift with which you have come to this world. So I realized my one gift is that in a desperate set of data, which is, from different sectors, different industries, I can see the patterns. So similarly, in this example, I was able to join the dots, see the pattern, that there is a link between health, wealth management and longevity. And I made it, repurposed my company, that became my Ikigai. And I started following that. Ikigai is, as I said, is something, which puts you in a state of flow. You feel very passionate about it. There's an emotional connect. It is something which wakes you up in the morning and it kind of gets you out of bed. You don't need to have 2 chais or 2 coffees to really get out of bed. You feel so passionate about that आप उठते ही वो काम करना चाहते हैं. So that is what Ikigai is. And I would say to all the youngsters here that life would be so incomplete if हम अपनी जिंदगी में अपनी Ikigai ना ढूंढ पाए. And 99% of the people, Abhishek, they come and go from this world without knowing their Ikigai. So let us be that fortunate 1%, and let's not wait, to wait 4 jobs. I have interviewed 10,000 people in my life, and I've seen that people, they do it's almost a pattern. By the time they turn 35, they've changed 4 jobs because वो पहला job करते हैं, जो job मिलता है ले लेते हैं. फिर then they would skip to a second job, which is giving, which they believe is their passion, or which is giving them a better pay. फिर वहाँ से भी निकल जाते हैं. And by the time you change 3rd or 4th, you almost come into a slightly, you start questioning your self, your self-confidence gets dented, and you start questioning yourself. But if you were to follow the right process at the beginning and do things you are truly passionate about, so something like, not everybody is as fortunate as Roger Federer or Sachin Tendulkar, that an Ajit Tendulkar, at the age of 12 would recognize your talent and give up his own career and life and mentor you and make you a master and a genius in your space. So many of us have to go through this technical process of finding our Ikigai, and we must invest in that. And my own journey, as I shared with you, again happened by accident, but I don't want our young colleagues should go through that accident. It should be a choice they should make.
Okay, Rajiv, there's another question which has come. It says that, my purpose is to earn good money and working hard and a meaningful life. What is the guarantee that I will earn money? How can Ikigai help me here?
Yeah, so this is what I've been, looking to allude to. And this is something my wife Anu and me were discussing yesterday only. This top of the mind for me. हम ये बात कर रहे थे कि जो भी अच्छा वर्कर होता है, any person who's a hardworking person, hardworking colleague, they stand out from a distance. They stand out from a distance amongst 50 people. They just stand out. And it is the work ethic. It is their attitude before work ethic. It is what they bring to the table, their own value system, how they align to the company value system, how they, develop a guru-chela relationship. They are driven by, our mythological scriptures, and it's, Mahabharata, Ramayana. Arjun could not have become Arjun unless he, followed his guru. And hence, each one of us needs a guru, somebody, a mentor, who's our first boss, second boss, will be our mentor. So what I'm trying to say, friends, is that my making money is most important. Obviously, you would have so many financial goals to achieve. I have financial goals, and I am of the school of thought of Ikigai, which is more Western. And that is the chart I showed you, the 4 wheels, the Venn diagram, which said making money. So I do not believe in the Japanese definition of Ikigai, to do whatever makes you happy. Everybody is not so privileged. So many of us have to work, and hence making money is important. So whatever you do, whatever is your passion, if that passion can also become your work and can pay you. So if for example, you are passionate about gaming and you can get a job in a company which allows you to develop games, then you are following your Ikigai. And if you are doing that, my friend, you will see that you will begin to stand out in that startup team of 100 people, and you will start getting promoted. You may get invited to become a co-founder. You may get a ESOP in that company, and this is how there are so many stories of business leaders who have followed their Ikigai. Steve Jobs is a classical example of a person who's followed his Ikigai, and he almost kind of bankrupted Apple, if you read his life story, at least 5 or 6 times, because his Ikigai or passion was to deliver the perfect piece of computer in the hands of the user. So he did it in the form of MacBook, and he did it in the form of iPad, and he did it in the form of iPhone, and he has revolutionized the world. But we have to start somewhere.
Rajiv, another question which has come is that what if you feel that you love something and suppose you do achieve it and it does not give you a joy in the end? What do you do then?
So then, that's a very good question. Life is a discovery process. So we have every reason to experiment, and we believe we like something, and we keep evolving. So at 23, we are passionate about something. At 28, we may not be able to be passionate about the same thing. So it's okay. It's okay to experiment a bit. When I gave you that CV example, I have no problem in people jumping jobs, but I respect people who have jumped 1 or 2 jobs. You should make the same mistake once or twice, not 3 times. So therefore, somebody who's 40, if they have changed 1 or 2 jobs, that's very good. That means they are self-discovering, they are growing. And so it is okay to go through that journey of discovering yourself, doing what you love, and finding your work in what you love. But it may take time. But at least when you become aware that you want to do it, So sooner or later, the thought comes looking for you.
Another question which has come up is that life flows and it is not static. So assume that one finds an ikigai. Does it change with time?
Yeah, so my previous answer flowed into this, that ikigai will keep changing at every life stage, between 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, so on till the age of 100. So right now we are thinking about your next 10 years. Let's think of 10 years at a time. What do we want to achieve? So, let's say you are extremely passionate about food and making burgers, and let's say you do not end up getting a job in a company which is into this business. It's fine. So like I said, ikigai can be two things. It can either be finding your purpose, and you have the luxury to be able to do that. You do a startup and somebody funds you, you're a bunch of 5-6 friends. Either that happens, or so do what Narayan Murthy did, or people like that did, or you find purpose in what you're doing. So for example, you go and work for a company which is an IT company, example JK Tech, and you read up the mission statement of the company. You soak yourself into the spirit of that job. So do it, उसको ऐसे आप अपना कर्म करें जैसे हमारी स्क्रिप्चर्स कहते हैं, इतने कर्म की इतने अच्छे भाव से करें that your bosses will be forced to note you. So friends, I keep reiterating what I heard from Thomas Friedman yesterday, that what will change post-COVID, the whole attitude of entrepreneurs, employers, and the employed, everything is going to change. Finding jobs is not going to be easy. To clear interviews will not be so easy. So people are looking for people, workforce who are truly passionate. You should display true passion, and you should bring your best self to work. And you must inherently have respect for that job. कि ये मेरी रोजी रोटी है और उसको मुझे करना है. जैसे हमारे शेफ हैं दिनेश, तो मैंने एक दिन उनको नोटिस किया कि वो जब गैस बंद करके जा रहे थे, तो उन्होंने चूल्हे को ऐसे हाथ लगाया, अपने सर पे लगाया. तो माय वाइफ आस्क्ड हिम, दिनेश आप क्या कर रहे हैं? तो कहते हैं ये हमारी रोजी रोटी है, हम इसको ऐसे करते हैं. सिमिलरली हमारे जो ड्राइवर हैं, वो इंजन को ऐसे जब मॉर्निंग में स्टार्ट करते हैं, इंजन के ऊपर हाथ रख के सर पे लगाते हैं कि ये हमारी रोजी रोटी है. तो इफ यू ब्रिंग दैट स्पिरिट टू योर जॉब, योर वर्क, योर फर्स्ट जॉब, फ्रेंड्स, आई कैन प्रॉमिस यू, you will sooner or later, you'll get noticed. You'll make a difference to that company with your passion, with your hard work, and all the other things that are necessary, and your unique skills, and you will take that company to a different height, and maybe yourselves too.
Raj, one more thing is, how has discovering ikigai, how has it changed an outlook as an entrepreneur for you?
Abhishek, this is a very good question again. I gave you the example of Puneet, how I took his interview for OmniLife. So at this point, I'm not really looking for very highly skilled people who are a little arrogant and egoistic. I am looking for people who are hardworking, who are very passionate, and who are value driven, and they are mission driven. Missionary. मुझे missionary लोगों की जरूरत है. कि जो लोग अगर जरूरत पड़े, जो क्राइसिस है कंपनी में, तो वो अपनी सैलरी कट लेने को तैयार हो जाएंगे, और वो कंपनी को पहले सोचेंगे, अपने आप को बाद में रखेंगे, अपनी नीड्स को थोड़ा सा ऑल्टर कर लेंगे. एंड आई बिलीव इन अ पोस्ट कोविड एनवायरनमेंट, अभिषेक, आई कीप रिपीटिंग दिस प्रोफेसर मारवा, कि सिनारियो बहुत चेंज होने वाला है. शायद हम 2 साल के इकोनॉमिक डिप्रेशन में चले जाएं. So we need to be very cautious, that we need to recalibrate, reconfigure our attitude as we go forward from post-COVID environment into the workforce.
What is the passion is not making a world a better place, but is helping me make money? Can it be called an ikigai?
If you dig deeper, it's like peeling the layers of onion. You just have to keep peeling and peeling and peeling the layers of the onion. And friends, every day I manage to refine my ikigai, and I just keep writing it down in my notepad on my iPhone. And it is a process of self discovery. तो जहाँ पे आपका पैशन और आपका प्रोफेशन कन्वर्ज कर जाए, तो nothing like it. And it is helping other people also. But joining the dots of this is a very difficult task. And that is why, you know, one needs to get into a workshop kind of an environment, work with a facilitator and do that. And I do meditations. In my own case, I mentioned that I do meditations to keep refining my Ikigai. So for example, to give you an example, you are in a job, in a good company, consulting company a year from now, and you're solving a problem for a client, और वो प्रॉब्लम का आपको आंसर नहीं आ रहा है, तो आप अगर एक ध्यान में बैठे और मेडिटेशन में बैठे, and you know you're thinking about in a focused way about the solution, and let's say a very brilliant solution comes to your mind, and tomorrow you go and give a presentation to the board, and as a 24-year-old, you will suddenly stand out, and they'll clap for you, and they'll say, wow, you know, you blow their minds, and your boss will take notice of it, and so by doing that you will feel passionate. You would have used your skills. You would also probably get a big bonus at the end of the year. So I'm giving a very practical sort of a simulated example of how it is not difficult, passion and money to converge. There are so many examples of people who become master chefs, like Manish Mehrotra, or Veer Sanghvi loves eating food, and he gets paid to do that, to go to good places. Our very, very, very famous Sachin Tendulkar तो icon है कि पैसा भी उसी से बनाते हैं और passion भी वही है. But and then you know we need not be skeptical by saying कि जी वो तो you know 1 in a million है, वो तो lucky हो गए. Yes, everybody may not be as talented as Sachin Tendulkar, but if you have the work ethic of a war horse, work ethic of Virat Kohli, he is not as talented as Sachin. But he is so hardworking that he is possibly a bigger contributor to Indian cricket than even Sachin Tendulkar. So why can't you be in where you are in your life and make a lot of money? Both of them make tons and tons of money. They get married in Italy.
So last question, since we have already run out of time, is that do we really need to do a workshop to find your own Ikigai, or can we do it ourselves?
What I would suggest to you is that you read up on Ikigai. You know, there are books on Ikigai. There is a blue book called by Francesca Miralles and Hector Garcia. These are two Spanish guys who have written this book. But that book is possibly, you know, less about Ikigai than living a whole certain lifestyle one should be leading. So that's, I believe, more relevant for people who are a little older. I also have, there's this book by, this is a more correct definition of Ikigai if somebody wants to read. I'll give you the name. It's by Yukari Mitsuhashi, a small Ikigai book. You know, you can possibly pick this up. This will give you a much deeper definition. You can do this Venn diagram for yourselves. You can watch my TEDx talk, which is 14 minutes. So I run you through again some more these examples and some more things, how to do your find your Ikigai. So you don't have to do a workshop, but if you do it, it is better for you. And or you could do what I could suggest is maybe you can do a workshop amongst yourselves, and so what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you could be paid for, if you study it and you you know, divide yourself in small groups of 8-10 people and you sit together and fill these answers. What I do in my workshops is that people sit together and the real value comes from when they hear each other's answers and perspective. They gain from each other. That is the biggest value add. So you can simulate and do these things yourselves.
All right, Rajiv, thanks a lot. I would really like thank you, and I think we've got a very good value today out of this talk. And I would request Professor Marwah to a parting thought from your side.
All I can say is it was a pretty thought-provoking session. And I have been working closely with Abhishek ji, and I know it was not easy. I remember in 2015, I was speaking to Abhishek ji and asked him, can I have your LinkedIn connects and friends to invite in the campus? And the one name that was top of his mind recall was Rajiv Bajaj. And it has taken us about 5 years to invite you in the classroom. I know it has not been easy, and I can understand you've been following your passion as Abhishek ji is all the time. I know both of you are very selective about what you want to do and what you do not want to do. I think that's a very great style of people who succeed in life. And I think the message is loud and clear. All of us need to look for our ikigai. I do not know whether I know it as well, but I would get into the thought thinking process again today. So would be, I think probably I have about 178 participants. I'm sure all of them will introspect today evening and look for their ikigai. But the message is very loud and very clear. If you love your job, keep doing it. If you do not love your job, leave it. Look for something that you love. To know what you love, you need to understand your ikigai. I think the message is very loud, very clear. Thank you, Rajiv ji. This was an e-classroom, but we certainly at JK Business School are looking forward to have you stepping into our classroom at JK Business School, Gurugram. We are looking forward to your visit to our Gurugram campus. Thank you, Rajiv ji.
Professor, thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Professor Marwa, for this opportunity. And lovely meeting all of you. I could not see your faces